We are going to be talking about a very expensive and highly sought after spice. It is the second most expensive spice after saffron, and it is very commonly used to flavour cakes and sweets. Hi everyone, and welcome to The Gardener's Life. I know it's been a while. This should be my introduction for everything. I hope you are all well, I hope you're all surviving, and I hope you have plants in your house. In today's wonderful how-to knowledge video, we are going to be talking about a very expensive and highly sought after spice. It is the second most expensive spice after saffron, and it is very commonly used to flavour cakes and sweets. It is the only edible crop from an orchid that originates in Mexico. Has anyone guessed it yet? It is the vanilla vine. So I was very fortunate enough, I've been waiting quite a few years to purchase a vanilla vine plant from an online store, and it has finally arrived, and here is the beauty. So it has gone a little bit scorned through its journey, but it is growing a vine and I'm very proud of it. So today we're going to be talking about the history of the vanilla vine and how to care for it at home. Unfortunately, it is going to be a few years until I can grow my very own little crop here. But hopefully I'll still be here to show you when that does, or if it does happen. There are over 100 species of vanilla plants, but there's only 2 species that are used for the commercial production of your vanilla spice. This is the Vanilla planifolia, and this is commonly referred to as the Mexican or bourbon vanilla. And this represents 95% of the vanilla we purchase commercially. The other 5% is given from Vanilla tahitense. Sorry if I'm pronouncing this wrong. Commonly referred to as the Tahitian vanilla, also sometimes referred to as the Madagascan vanilla. The earliest reports of vanilla being used was by pre-Columbian Maya of the southeastern Mexico, and it was later used by the Aztec rulers of the Valley of Mexico. There are several instances of the vanilla plant being cultivated or brought into Europe since 1721. But it wasn't until 1837 in Belgium that the plant first produced a crop. And why did it take nearly 100 years for them to produce a vanilla pod? Well, it's because a very special bee. Similar to cacao, there are only certain bees that would pollinate these vanilla flowers. Now, historically, it was thought that the Melipona bee was the one mainly responsible for pollinating vanilla flowers. But recently, a larger bee known as the Inglossen bee is thought to play more of a role than the smaller Melipona bee. There are also thoughts that other pollinators are involved to a lesser degree. So that's all about the history. What about caring for this plant? Well, similar to any other orchid plant, it does not like cold temperatures. The vanilla plant should be grown in a tropical or subtropical climate, and it should not be kept any colder than 5 degrees Celsius. It does not do well in frost, and it will die. It should have a well-drained and moist soil at all times. Similar to other orchids, it does have aerial roots that need a good support system for it to grow. Naturally, it would grow in a rainforest, and as it climbs up the plant and reach the canopies, it would flower. So it needs quite a long support system. As such, there are certain methods that you can use to allow your plant to grow bigger. One of them is referred to as the looping method, where the plant is allowed to grow about 2 meters before looping it around, gently of course, as it is quite easily broken. Terrestrial roots on the plant do take up nutrients from the soil, but it's important that you do not fertilize with any chemical fertilizers or manures, as this plant will not like it. You can mulch with sugarcane mulch, which will help retain moisture, as well as top up with fresh soil. Flowering occurs about 2 to 3 years of age of the plant, and as it needs a special pollinator, you will need to hand pollinate the flowers. They are hermaphrodites, so both the female and male parts of the flower are on one flower, and so this is a relatively simple and straightforward method. Once you successfully pollinate, you will see these lovely strings of almost fingers that are green hanging down from the flowers. You'll then need to time up the perfect time to harvest them, and this is generally when the tips of the pods turn a canary yellow. From there, there's a further 9-month process to ferment and dry the pod before it's ready to use in cooking. In terms of health problems, like any other plant, they can be prone to fungal or mildew problems due to the moist environment that they're grown in. There are also particular viruses that are spread through vanilla plants. However, these are mainly seen in French Polynesian, the Kingdom of Tonga, and Mauritius. So I hope you enjoyed this 5-minute introduction into the vanilla plant and growing it yourself. I live in Australia, so my plant was purchased through Daly's Fruits, and they only have a limited supply that comes up about once a year. The variety of my plant is the Mexican variety, and it does tend to do well in my climate, which is a bit hotter and drier. I will be keeping it inside, and fingers crossed I'll get a flower growing in a couple of years. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon, guys. Bye. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to watch more videos, click here. If you'd like to subscribe, click here. See you next time, guys.